To all the people out there, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, what are you waiting for? Subscribe it right now and hit the bell notification right next to it so that you are updated whenever I upload a new video on every Saturdays. And if you haven't watched my previous videos, please do watch them because it is gonna help you a lot if you are planning to attend any of the cabin crew interviews in the future. And today's video is about most frequently asked question in all of the cabin crew interviews. So if you're interested, keep watching.
Mike, hotel, uniform, over the Alpha Bridge, more for you around Fox.
Well, before commencing the video, I would like to give you a disclaimer, but however, I'm gonna give it at the end of the video. Do not forget to watch until the end because if you don't, you're gonna miss out a very important point. So without any delay, let's get started with the questions. So I'm gonna do a part 2 video as well because there are a lot of questions. I can't cover everything in only one video because this will become very long. So what I'll be doing is I'll be making a part 2 video and include questions in them as well. Well, the first question is, tell me something about yourself. I know that's the most cliche question that you would hear in each and every interview. But why do you think the interviewer or the recruiter would ask you this question? Because they would like to know who you are as a person, right? So how do you answer this? So you need to keep this in mind that you should not make this answer too long or too short. Make sure that it is short and crisp. So you can either include around 8 to 10 sentences and make sure it only includes points like your name and the place that you hail from and your educational qualification, and in case if you're pursuing anything at present, you can include that as well. And you can include your hobbies, if you possess any work experience previously, and you can also include how many people stay in your family. And very important, in case you know to speak in multiple languages, you can also mention that, which will also act as an added advantage. Not really take too long, complete it as soon as possible, but do not be in rush as well. Okay, your self-introduction is very important. Why? Because out of my personal experience, most of my interviews I've got selected, I guess is because of my introduction itself. Because the first impression is the best impression, as you've heard. So make sure that your introduction is crisp, short, and you need to impress the recruiter right away. What are they gonna check is your communication skills. That matters a lot. So focus on your communication skills instead of the detailing that you're giving out there. Okay, so that's about it. And the next question is, why do you want to become a cabin crew? Again, so the most frequently asked question in all the aviation interview out there. So the answers that you're gonna hear is that you love traveling, or you like to meet new people every day, and you like customer service, or you like interacting with people, whatnot. So this is the answer that the recruiter gets to hear from each and every person out there. So I'm not asking you to make your answer very unique, out of the box or something. Make sure it comes out of your heart. That's right. Whatever you're saying, you have to mean it, because just for the sake of getting the job, you can't just say that you love traveling, or you love meeting people or something, but you need to actually do these things once you get a job. So you got my point, right? So make sure that your answers are genuine, and you can also include these points if they're true, absolutely, but make sure that you're not giving any fake answers and it comes out of you. So that's about it. Okay, the third question is, tell me your hobbies, or what are your hobbies? Well, before answering this question, understand why is the recruiter asking you this question and what does he or she wants to know. Be careful before mentioning your hobbies. Don't just say for the sake of saying that you love reading books or doing certain kind of activities. Because, for example, if I say that I love reading books, well, the next question that the interviewer is gonna ask is, okay, so since you like reading books, can you please name some of the books that you've read so far? And if you're a person who doesn't read books, then you're in trouble already, because you just said that you do not really like, right? So make sure you answer this keeping in your mind whatever your hobbies are. That's fine. Even if your hobby is you like singing, you like dancing, or you like you are involved in sports or whatever it is, make sure that you tell them your genuine hobbies. Maybe the next question is about your hobby, so please be careful. And also, if possible, make sure to mention any of the hobbies which are related to hospitality or related to aviation. For example, you can say that my hobby is traveling, so which you can also relate to hospitality or the aviation, so which you can actually relate to it, right? If not, you can also say that you have this passion of learning new language. You are fond of learning new language, so which can also you can relate to it, because the more languages you know, that's like an added advantage to your interview and to your job, right? That's about it. And the next question is, what do you know about cabin crew job, or what is a cabin crew job profile like? So you need to know the answer for this. The sole reason that they're asking this question is they want to know that you're actually interested in this job. So how do you answer this question? What is the job profile of a cabin crew like? Well, I guess there are a lot of people out there who only thinks that cabin crew job is only to serve you food or serve you tea, coffee, or serve you water. That is absolutely wrong. So the first and foremost reason that the crew are out there in 35,000 or 37,000 feet above the mean sea level is for your safety, for your security. So anything happens on board, they are responsible. And then comes service. I know service is an important factor, but still your safety and security comes first, and then comes your service. So hope this is clear with all the people out there who only thinks that the job of cabin crew is only to serve. Because before getting into the job, you go under rigorous training. It can be for like 3 to 4 months. So you go under rigorous training. You need to study a lot. You get trained in different stuff, so they can answer smaller to smallest and bigger to biggest questions that passengers have. So what is the job profile like? The actual answer that you're gonna say to the interviewer is that the job includes safety, security of passengers, and as well as, since it's the hospitality industry, you also have to include service. Make sure that you do some research about the same, and don't just say that you're there to give service. Please do also mention about safety and security. Alright, so the next question is, tell me about your strengths and weaknesses. So why do you think the interviewer is asking you this question? First thing is, of course, to know your communication skills, and the second thing, they want to know if you actually fit in the job profile. Okay, so when it comes to your weaknesses, so let me speak about weaknesses first, and then let me speak about your strengths. So don't really mention these points that I'm gonna tell you now in your actual interview. Do not say that you are an introvert, because if you are an introvert, how are you gonna communicate with thousands of people a day, right? So do not really mention that point. And do not say say that you don't like to travel, because cabin crew jobs include traveling a lot. So you can't say that you don't like traveling, or you can't even either say that I don't like meeting people, or don't mention that you do not have time manners, or you are lazy. Don't really say these points, because if you the moment that you say these points, the chances of you getting selected in the interview will be very less. So do not really include these points, because if you do not have time manners, or if you are like lazy or something, how are you gonna do the job? Because this is not a 9 to 5 job. You need to wake up early in the morning, or you might start your day at night. So the timing is completely different. So you can't mention points like these. So as I told you, if you're mentioning these kind of points, the chances of you getting selected will go down. So do not really mention these points. So how are you gonna speak about your weaknesses is, tell them that it can be a weakness to you, but it can be a strength to the airline or for your job profile. So how do you say it? You can either say that you speak a lot, or you're very friendly. Maybe it can be a weakness to you, but for the airline, if you speak a lot, if you're like very friendly, or you interact too much, then that's a valid point. So it can also be a weakness to you, and it can also be a strength to the airline. You understanding my point? It has to be like the weaknesses that you possess are like the strength to the airline, and you get into the job profile neatly. So speaking about, you can include certain points like that. So speaking about your strengths, well, the points that you can include in your strengths are: you're flexible, you're genuine, you value the time, and you're hardworking, and you are a team player. So you can include such points. So I shall be making a video in case if it's required for your strengths and your weaknesses. Do let me know in the comment section below if you want a separate video about your strengths and weaknesses. So the next question is, what qualities do you think a cabin crew needs to possess or needs to have? Well, the answer is pretty simple. So they're just asking the same thing again. So you heard about the profile of a cabin crew, so you can relate to it and answer this question. So you can answer this question by using these terms. You can say that a cabin crew job needs a lot of patience, and should be an expert in communication skills, and as well as you can also mention that you need have a top-notch customer service skills. You need to be a team player. You need to be flexible, since this job is not a 9 to 5 job. And so the many points out there. So these are some points, certain points which you can include in your interview. So the next question is maybe the last question for the video. I shall include the next questions in the next video. What do you know about our company? So very important question. Any interview, not just aviation interview, hospitality interview, any interview you go out there and attend, the recruiter is gonna ask you this question: what do you know about the company? So before attending any of the interviews, make sure that you do some research. Very, very, very important, because you can't really expect this question to be there in each and every interview. Out of my personal experience, I would prepare before going to interviews, and they would never ask me this question. But I have seen them asking this question to some different people. So it is completely situational. They can ask it to anybody. If they think that they need to know, that they need to hear it from you, again, they're gonna check your communication skills. Does not mean that you can give them wrong information. Make sure that you're giving appropriate information with good communication skills. So make sure that you do some research about the airline. So what you can include is who are the founders of the airline, and when did the airline come into existence, and since how many years the airline is being operated. You can also include the important bases where they operate from. So every different airline have different bases, right? So for example, Emirates, they operate from Dubai. So just like that, in India or any of the airlines that you are going to attend, also include where do they operate from, where are their operational bases. And you can also include the awards that the airlines have won, so which you are actually impressing the recruiter. Make sure that you at least know 5 awards that the airline has won. And also please do know the difference between low-cost carrier and a full-service airline, because when you are attending the interview, you need to know the differences between low-cost carrier and full-service airlines. That is very important. You need to know the difference. So if you have no idea what I am speaking about right now, what a low-cost and a full-service airline is, you can mention the same thing in the comment section below. I shall make a different video about the same, so that you have some idea about it. So you can include these points. Guys, research is the key. Do not forget to do some research before going to the interview. If they are not asking you enough questions, then it's your lucky day. If not, they are gonna ask you these questions. Okay, the key is your communication skills. If they think that you are very good in your communication skills, they are not gonna ask you many questions. 1 or 2 and they're done. If they think that you are not good in your communication skills, they are gonna ask you some more questions. You know, just like your vivas in your colleges, if you would answer the question, first or the second question, they would just let you go. If you're not able to answer the questions that they have asked, they would ask you some more questions. Do you remember? Can you relate? So the same thing applies here as well. So your communication is the key. Okay. So okay, the disclaimer that I was about to give you before commencing the video was, guys, all the questions out there are situational. So every person out there is different, right? So they can ask you any kind of questions. Okay, let me give you this example. They can ask you the first question, tell me something about yourself. And since it is India, so as I already mentioned, that English and Hindi are 2 mandatory languages that you need to know. So they can also ask you to say the same thing in Hindi. So if you have added some extraordinary words in your English introduction, and if you are weak in Hindi, you will not be able to say the same thing in Hindi, right? So do not really mug up. My suggestion is, do not really mug up. So even if you're mugging up things, you can only mug up things like your self-introduction. If they get to know that you're very good in your English, they will ask you questions in Hindi, and they would really ask you all the questions in Hindi only. So you never know. And the questions, as I told you, will be completely situational. So they can, if you mention any previous experience, they can ask you that what was the job profile of your previous job like? Why do you want to switch to our airline? What was wrong with your previous job? Why do you want to switch? So these are the situational questions out there which will come up to you, which you cannot be prepared for. Or they can ask you completely out of the box questions. So I'm going to mention that in my next video. So there are many questions still out there which I'm going to mention, which can be very, very, very helpful in your future cabin crew videos, your interview videos. You can also find the links for my previous videos in the description box below. Do not forget to watch them, and the videos are uploaded every Saturday, do not forget. And if you have any questions, make sure that you leave them in the comment section below. I shall answer them. And I'll see you in my next video. Until then, bye-bye. So before that, do not forget to like, share, subscribe and comment, and hit the notification bell right next to it, because that will update you whenever I upload the next video.